Say it.
What's he up to, man? What's he doing?
We're just getting started.
It's time to break down another Better Call Saul episode in order. We start Season 5 with Saul appearing in more ways than you might expect. Now's a good time to double check you're still subscribed while I share 51 details you might not know in the Season 5 premiere.
Magic Man.
It's Gene time again. When we last saw him, he freaked out that he might have been recognized by the cab driver from Albuquerque.
This is good. I'll get out here.
He walked the rest of the way back to the mall. According to the episode outline, it was a 10-minute walk. There's his shoebox again. We get a better look at the Mexican pesos and family photos that were there in Uno. There's an at-a-glance address book and of course the Band-Aid box. We finally get to see what's in it. This shot is an intentional homage to Marathon Man. He's converted his money into a lot of diamonds. It's hard to say how much they're worth given how much each one can vary based on the 4 C's. It's easy to miss it behind the diamonds, but he's also memorizing the number from an important business card. Let's kill the music and listen to what he's saying.
505-142-4205.
Although we've seen 3 different numbers for best quality vacuum, that matches the one we just saw in El Camino.
I know he swapped those numbers.
Black Ford Mustang on sidewalk at Monroe Middle.
He's listening to frequency 453.8, which is indeed appropriate for public safety messages. This is the real outside of an Albuquerque diner placed in a digital Kansas. And it was summer when they filmed this. They put down some fake physical snow, but you can see that most of the snow is a visual effect. The diner is indeed the home of the Travis, a beef and bean burrito covered in fries. Their Travis on a Silver Platter challenge was featured on Man vs. Food Nation. If you can finish the 6-pound burrito topped with 2 pounds of fries in 1 hour, you can make their wall of fame. During editing, they had a temporary version of this shot where they just put in a still from North by Northwest, and they even left Cary Grant in the image for fun.
Cowboy.
This is really the inside of Grandma's K&I Diner with some obligatory Kansas signs to help sell the illusion. There's a reminder of Kim. The idea is that he drove just past the border because being in a different state might help prevent him from being found. He could drive from Omaha to Kansas in about an hour and a half.
French toast didn't work out, huh?
This is an issue of the Kansas City Star from 2011. The only reason I know that is it's mentioned in the credits. I believe this means at the time they intended this to take place 3 to 15 months after the end of Breaking Bad. But because nothing is pinned down inside the show, they still have the flexibility to change that.
I can get you something else. We're serving lunch now.
Yeah,
Look what time it is.
12:16.
hi, Molly. It's me, Gene.
Molly is on the sheet, but she and Adrienne are names we haven't seen before. We keep adding to the list of names that never appeared on the shift schedule we saw in Season 2. Raquel has been around from the start, and we saw Sam the last 2 seasons.
I'm fine. Turns out I was just dehydrated.
Dangerously low on electrolytes.
Can you and Frederica open?
Who's Frederica?
Has anybody been asking about me? Nobody at all? Thanks, Molly.
District is 1094 Aurora Drive.
We hear crickets, but crickets can't typically chirp when it's this cold. It seems like he's safe. I love this shot so much. It's an interesting choice to have the camera locked to his surroundings rather than the bouncing view he's experiencing from this vantage point. The song choice here is meant to give the false impression that everything's okay. Remove the bars, he's a free man.
50% off.
Correa wasn't drafted by the Astros until 2012 and judged by the Yankees until 2013. There's real-life Cinnabon employee Raquel. He's further along in The Moon's a Balloon, so that's some nice continuity.
Hey, it's you. It's you.
Uh-oh, that's the cab driver. This really looks like production lighting rather than the mall's windows.
I just want to say hi. I'm a big fan.
The costume designer said his sweater reminds her of a jail cell, and as Gene's staring at him, he could be having visions of himself in jail.
My name is Takovic. Gene Takovic.
Maybe he should have said he's Saul's twin brother.
I know who you are. You know who you are.
I know what you were. What you are.
Let's just get past that. You know who I had in my cab once? Sammy Hagar. He's even more famous than you.
What do you want?
I just want you to admit it.
His intentions are ambiguous, but in the outline, he was going to say that he's not a rat.
I don't know.
Why don't you just, admit it?
I really don't know.
Yeah, you do. You're the guy.
Just say it. Come on. Come on. Come on, man.
Say the words.
Say it.
Not a real lawyer.
I can't even hear that.
You're not a real lawyer.
Okay, enough messing around.
Say it.
Better call Saul.
I can't even hear that.
Better call Saul.
Do the point.
Better call Saul.
A little rusty, but you'll do better next time. You didn't ask, but the name's Jeff. Anytime you need me, you just call up Omaha United Cabs. Never more than 5 minutes away.
Gulp. This isn't his first starstruck fan.
You're on our billboard. You're the lawyer guy.
It's an honor. I'll see you, Gene.
What we see and hear do not match each other or the phone number he said earlier.
Please deposit an additional 50 cents.
It's going to cost double. That's interesting foreshadowing.
Best quality vacuum.
Yeah, I need an adapter for a Hoover Max Extract Pressure Pro Model 60.
Adapter? Is that what it's called when you need a second round?
Mr. Takovic, that will be
A very difficult part to obtain.
Ed becomes the third person to appear in all three arms of the Breaking Bad universe. I just mentioned in the El Camino video that the Alaska scene was the last one Robert Forster ever filmed. This scene was filmed earlier, at the same time they filmed the vacuum store scene for the movie. Originally you were only going to hear Ed's voice because they wouldn't have spent the time and money on creating the vacuum store location for such a quick moment. But producer Melissa Bernstein realized there was an opportunity to leverage the store they converted for El Camino. So Peter Gould wrote this scene early and they got this done months before any other filming, such as Gene's side of the same phone call.
It's going to be more expensive than the original.
How expensive?
Double the price. And we are still in a cash on
Delivery situation. Will that be a problem?
Not if diamonds count as cash.
No.
They finished the episode before Robert passed away. After he did, Vince asked if they could add even more of him into the episode, so they did, very late in the process.
How hot are you?
Depends who you ask.
I got made.
Any official involvement?
No, not yet.
All right, Mr. Takovic. Thursday, 7 a.m. You know the rest, am I right?
They ran out of time on the day of filming, so this shot was filmed at the end of the season, and Bob was much skinnier at that point. It was so noticeable that they actually horizontally stretched this shot a couple percent.
Mr. Takovic.
The script reveals that Gene is channeling Saul here, so both Gene and Jimmy become Saul in this episode.
Still there?
I've changed my mind.
Change your mind.
To be clear, you are not going forward with this.
I'm gonna fix it myself.
The worm has turned.
This Gene sequence was almost 13 minutes long, and we heard him speak way more than ever before. It makes you wonder how long the Gene bit is going to be next season. Wow, now look how much the title sequence has degraded. And this season's titles all have a glitch that briefly shows the next episode's title sequence. Kim comes into focus just like Gene did at the start, and the opposite of what Gene just did at the end of the teaser. Kim just can't escape colorfulness. Once again, we've started where we left off last season, so it's time to break out Bob Mojo's chart. The writers intended this shot to be like a horror movie. This guy is channel member Phantom Fang's grandpa, and the teleporting stairs man I pointed out in Wiedersehen. It's funny to think that he witnessed Jimmy's outburst and now is standing next to him. He also appeared in Valley High, and we'll see him again in Fun and Games. He might be the most extra, joining the ranks of this Breaking Bad extra who is not Bryan Cranston, but rather viewer Tucker's grandpa.
Jimmy, you're gonna call yourself Saul Goodman.
I'm already calling myself Saul Goodman. We've talked about this.
It's true.
Of course, they all know me as Saul Goodman. The Skells who've been buying my phones. I stay Saul Goodman. They call the guy they already know.
This season, Bob amped up his hand gestures to invoke more Saul.
I thought I was wasting a year of my life. It wasn't a waste. I know. All of a sudden, I've got it all figured out. But I do. If you want me to slow my roll, I can come back and do this another day.
If this is how you're really feeling,
It is.
I say sure.
Great. 5 minutes max.
5 more minutes?
The path forward for Jimmy now seems so clear.
Jimmy, Saul, Goodman, Miguel.
So the big thing this episode starts to address is, what's Kim going to do about all this?
Thank you, honey.
First sweetheart, now honey, there's no stopping him now. This season the show switched camera systems again. The first 2 seasons were shot primarily on a red Epic Dragon. Then during season 3, after Marshall Adams took over as DP, they switched to red Weapon 6K cameras. In season 4 it was a red helium camera alongside a bunch of others. But after shooting El Camino on the Arri Alexa 65 camera right before the season started, they decided to switch to it for Better Call Saul. Marshall believes it produces a more cinematic film-like result and does a better job with skin tones. Peter also believes that because the characters are evolving, it's okay to evolve the look of the show along with them. They changed the color grading as well, even to the black and white scenes.
You know how many Werner Zieglers there are in Germany?
Lalo's joined the counting game.
27. 26 now, according to Mrs. Ziegler.
I told you I never heard of the guy.
What about Michael?
He could have tried asking some of his family members.
You're an ex-cop.
Although, as Nacho said,
You are nothing
to him. He forgot all about you.
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 Werner Ziegler. You ever heard of that guy? Werner Ziegler?
No.
What about Michael? He's a bald gringo. He's in the game.
Mark Freeborn, the production designer for most of Breaking Bad, has returned to do it for just season 5.
Okay.
Look who's now a co-producer. That doesn't count though without the in-universe connection.
South wall pouring concrete. What's he up to, man? What's he doing? So there's nothing new going on?
They paused the on-screen credits for over a minute here so it doesn't detract from this important exchange.
What?
It's nothing, man. A couple of scouts on 4th been complaining that this stuff is stepped on.
Stepped on?
Scouts complain is what they do.
You got them right. Okay. Show me.
Mark Freeborn's team did a lot here to make the area look worse than it is in real life. That looks real. So far so good with the El Camino idea of putting a real bill on top. They really did drop a camera down a pipe here, although they still did some digital touch-ups. Of course, the long pipe with a clear view of the end doesn't match the pipe with a 90-degree turn at the very end, nor does the guy's surroundings match what we see the rest of the time. Like all season premieres from season 4 onward, Peter Gould wrote this episode. Bronwyn Hughes directed just this one episode of Better Call Saul and just one episode of Breaking Bad. She's responsible for one of the most iconic shots in Breaking Bad.
Otto, where you going? Not going in there.
We haven't seen an 11 knock since Howard.
Mouse, it's okay. No one's stepping on it, man. We picked the stuff from the chicken farm, we cut it, split it, and it lands here. I'm with it all the way.
You pick it up how?
He puts out 10 keys, I pick 6.
That actually stopped happening even before Nacho became a mole.
Where's the rest? These are okay, but these... This shit's not ours, man.
This is old school beautiful.
I still want to know what happened to his previous one.
JMM. Sorry about that. I didn't know. I got it for Jimmy McGill.
Yeah, well, Jimmy loves it. If anybody says anything, I'll just say JMM is my motto. Justice matters most.
There's also this.
Wrapping it in a plastic bag is a nod to the last time she gave him the mug.
Such a beautiful wrapping job, it's a shame to open it. World's second best lawyer again. Saul Goodman is gonna give you a run for your money.
Look how Kim's mouth moves with a slam.
The real trick is gonna be to get my clients to know that the cell phone guy is now a lawyer. What I'm thinking is, I've still got almost a full pallet of cell phones. I'll give them away. For added sweetener, limited time only, non-violent felonies, 50% off.
I see you looking, but it has to be a prominent part of the shot to count.
Doesn't that sound like you're encouraging these people to commit crimes?
You don't know these assholes like I do. Rain or shine, these morons will be out there doing stupid shit and getting arrested for it. Little discount won't make a bit of difference. Do you want sprinkles? Because I'm having sprinkles.
I'm just worried about how this reflects on you.
You know what? When you're right, you're right. What am I doing cutting prices? Discount is a desperation move.
That's not the point.
This is why this works. I go too far, and you pull me back.
That's ominous, because we know he goes too far in Breaking Bad.
So if a prison shanky is completely off the table, and we're sure of that?
So what's going to happen to Kim?
Don't you think you're selling yourself short? Why this?
I can't go back to being Jimmy McGill. Jimmy McGill, the lawyer, is always going to be Chuck McGill's loser brother. That name is burned.
Poor choice of words, but Jimmy does keep talking about fire.
This mofo is on fire. I will burn the whole thing to the ground.
Burning down the place.
I'll burn this whole goddamn house to the ground! That bridge is burned. The flame leaped up to the windowsill. Wall of flame.
Originally, he was explicitly going to tie this to Kim saying that Jimmy McGill is always down.
This is how I move forward, and I like it.
I just can't see it.
You will.
This message is sponsored by Raycon. These days, my exercise is mostly walking my new puppy, and I need to stay aware of what's going on around me while listening to music or YouTube videos. Raycon's bone conduction headphones have been great because they sit just outside my ears. I can still hear traffic or people.
Cute puppy.
Thanks.
Hey, watch out.
Thanks for the warning. Safety and sound all in one. And they're perfect for staying in motion. They're lightweight, easy to wear, and stay in place even when I'm forced to pick up the pace. They've got 13 hours of battery life, they're IP68 waterproof and dustproof. Now's a great time to try them because they're 15% off. Raycon gives you premium performance without the premium price tag. Their quality rivals big audio brands, but at half the cost. Plus, over 3 million customers already love Raycon, and they come with a 30-day happiness guarantee. I've been using them every day, many times a day, with this little guy. Oh yeah, and the JMM stands for just make music. The bone conduction headphones are the perfect addition to your fitness routine. Go to buyraycon.com/BetterWatchTVBC to get 15% off. That's buyraycon.com/BetterWatchTVBC. Thanks Raycon for sponsoring. He switched to a darker shade of loafer. Their synthetic eel skin, which the costume designer chose to reflect the shark in him. Wow, Bronwyn loves these shots.
Did I keep you waiting?
Now that is dramatic lighting.
Are all those buildings really full of chickens?
It seems like he knows it was really torn down in Breaking Bad Season 4. Because the chicken farm no longer exists, this scene takes place in a decommissioned paint factory in real life.
There's a serious matter to discuss.
The costume designer called Lalo's shiny shirt reptilian, saying he's a snake as well as a shark.
You may have noticed that some of the product is altered. Gustavo will explain.
I have a confession to make. A man was working for me. He was supervising a construction project. I think you know his name, Werner Ziegler. Ziegler became aware of our other activities. Temptation was too great for him to resist, and he stole 2 keys of product. I believe you know the rest of the story.
That's the south wall?
My shame is that I hid the truth. I replaced the stolen product with methamphetamine I purchased locally. Some of this inferior product went to your organization. And for that, I must apologize. Sincerely.
Now that's how you fake sincerity. Although Gus could have come up with a cover story for Werner without the extra step of swapping product, he purposely did this to force the meeting with Bolsa, who Gus hopes can put an end to Lalo's shenanigans. Remember that Bolsa did actually allow Gus to use a local supplier in the past after Gus staged the ambush on Nacho and Arturo.
Find a local supplier on your side of the border. Let me worry about Eladio.
So this is a very safe thing for Gus to admit.
What construction project?
He was supervising a construction project.
What?
It would be simpler for me to show you.
Would it?
This would be the most advanced inline chilling system in the Southwest.
A chicken freezer? Chiller. Our product is never frozen. These are Ziegler's men, working from his plans.
One thing I never picked up on is that Peter pays attention to how main characters are revealed for the first time each season, and he loves the showmanship of the mic reveal here.
Your man, Michael, that's not him, is it?
It is.
I'd love to say hello if that's permitted.
Is that safe?
Rules are rules.
Michael, please meet my associate, Eduardo.
What a pleasure. I've heard so much about you.
That right?
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna get back to it.
Thank you, Michael.
Wow. That explains everything.
Listen to me. You two must coexist.
Gustavo, there can be no more secrets.
Yes.
When Eladio is not happy, do you understand what I'm telling you?
I do.
I now pronounce you boss and subordinate.
You know, it's gonna be a very nice chiller. South wall's gonna look beautiful.
¿Por qué estás en el norte?
Para proteger los intereses de mi familia. Mira, lo que pasa es que Héctor tiene esta loca idea de que el pollero quedó un poco resentido después de que mi tío le metió un balazo en la cabeza a su noviecito.
This isn't really a new confirmation because he's laughing, so he seems to be reflecting Hector's attitude.
Yo diría los culos, hermano.
No entiendes a Gustavo. Con él, todo es negocio.
Como lo que pasó en Santiago, eso también era negocio.
What did happen in Santiago, the capital of Chile?
Tú confías en Frink.
Con tal de que traiga lana, Eladio está contento.
Está bien, no hay nada más de qué hablar entonces.
Lalo did try to warn you, Bolsa.
I think you're behind all this.
The extras all did a good job of avoiding eye contact with the camera. I think it happens here, though, and possibly here.
That ridiculous bouncing car.
He's doing this in the same lot he sold his phones, which makes sense. Man Mountain's part of this scheme too, giving out free churros. This is some expensive marketing, but as Kim tells us,
it's where every legal practice must begin. Marketing.
Next, I'm thinking you might be someone who partakes of the herb of the earth. I'm guessing you ladies are popular with the fellas. This could lead to a misunderstanding with the boys in blue. Say hello to my little friend.
Say hello to my little friend!
Number 1 on the speed dial goes directly to me. I'm number 1 on your speed dial right next to your weed dealer. You press that and poof, 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 poof.
Abracadabra!
I'm there. Saul Goodman is there.
the bell was Bob's idea to add on the day of filming.
Ese es un Salamanca.
Next. I'm the lawyer who's gonna fight for you. You. The cops are giving you the evil eye.
Some of this dialogue was written by Peter and some was improvised.
Go ask Huel about me. He was facing 3 years, 6 years, 8 years, 25 years.
That's 18 months.
Didn't do a single day. That's why he calls me the Magic Man.
Jimmy, you called yourself that.
I'm a magic man. I asked him not to call me that, but he insists.
But there's some truth to this.
Dude's like Houdini.
I've been working magic here.
Work your magic.
Press number 1. Press number 1. Zip your lip.
Here's what's gonna happen.
Boom. Your friend Saul is there. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, we've given out our last phone. However, I'm still here.
This guy was in line at the start with only around 16 people in front of him. We saw 19 different people get phones after that, and yet he leaves empty-handed.
Take a card. Whoa. You know what? Since none of you are getting phones tonight, how about special discounts? Nonviolent felonies, 50% off. Yeah, discount is a desperation move. There you go. Remember, 50% off. All right.
Well done, Magic Man.
It was Lavelle's idea to say Magic Man here.
We're just getting started.
Right here was going to be a scene that shows some aftermath of Kim's spilled milk scheme in Lubbock. Fortunately for us, they did film it.
Morning, Kim.
Morning. Let me guess, the meeting got pushed, right?
Yes, 10 minutes. Reed's in the conference room setting up.
Here are the notes for this afternoon. Can you?
Sure.
Viola, would you mind reviewing the Ogden letters? They should be on my desk.
Got it.
Great.
So you aren't going to stop in your office?
Is there a reason I should stop in my office?
He came in this morning.
Cowboy.
That's the biggest gift basket I've ever seen. They must love your work.
I guess so.
Oh, Lubbock, Texas. Looks like they broke ground on the new branch.
Kevin's assistant called. She wanted to make sure you open the gift box.
To the miracle worker, Eileen and I have spent many romantic weekends here. Hope you and James enjoy yours. Kevin. Stein Erickson Lodge in Deer Valley, Utah.
That's a real place, considered by some to be the best ski hotel in the world.
3 nights.
It's all expenses paid.
I've heard of that place. It's supposed to be fantastic.
Should I find a weekend this month for you and Jimmy?
That would be great. This is, wow. Remind me to write a thank you note this afternoon.
Absolutely.
I'd better see if Reed's got everything under control.
I wondered if this was meant to show us Kim having doubts about her relationship with a man now named Saul, but the only indication in the outline is that she feels guilty about scamming, and the ends not justifying the means. That's something that will come up again at the end of this episode.
Oh, Viola, one more thing. I'd like you to have this.
I couldn't.
Maybe she should give it to Rich.
I love a ski trip.
You deserve it. You and Lynn will have a great time.
I don't. What about you and Jimmy?
Jimmy's up to his eyeballs with work right now, and the timing is just not right. We'll get there eventually, but now it's your turn.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to say. Thank you.
The creators felt it was important to show this scene to prove that Gus wouldn't kill the rest of the Germans. Although I wonder if they intentionally referenced this Breaking Bad scene to make us wonder if they were about to be killed.
If you were gonna die, you'd be dead already.
Oh, okay.
The job may only be half done, but you're being paid in full. Your cooperation is expected to continue permanently. You let your end down, there will be consequences. Udo and Renke, you're driving to Denver. Flight for Zurich leaves at midnight.
Even though they're flying to different places and the actors are from several different countries, the creators confirmed they're all meant to be German.
Kai, you're flying out of Dallas, direct to Berlin.
It had to be done. He was a good man, but in truth, he was soft.
To add impact to the punch, they removed a frame. Mike looking off to the side before punching reminds me of...
Casper, you're headed to Phoenix, to Vancouver, and then Vancouver to Budapest.
He was worth 50 of you.
Yeah, unfortunately. Sebastian, Adrian, you're driving to El Paso, to Chicago, and Chicago to Vienna.
Apparently these 2 direct flights did not exist in 2004.
Last of them got on a plane for Zurich an hour ago. No problem.
Will they do as they've been told?
You're asking my opinion?
Yeah, that's kind of funny considering Mike might not be the best judge.
And what do you say?
I've got eyes on him. But yeah,
He's good.
As long as Lalo Salamanca is on this side of the border, we cannot continue as we were.
So this is it?
No, this is not it. Once Salamanca is dealt with, and he will, construction will resume. Until then, you will continue to be paid.
So you're gonna pay me to do nothing?
You know Mike isn't comfortable with that.
Call it a retainer.
Even after Ziegler?
Yes.
What happened in Frankfurt?
The attorney spent a full day with his wife. She accepted the facts as presented. A construction accident. She has been compensated.
Compensated?
I would choose my next words very carefully if I were you.
You keep your goddamn retainer.
Mike, exit. Walmart didn't use that logo until 2008, and the Nutrition Facts label is the version that was updated in 2016. Peter DeSeth claims he's consciously doing the Arthur Angry Fist here. They switched to a handheld style shot, rarely used in Better Call Saul.
Mr. Oakley, would you care to comment on the Carl Gravenhorst case?
Oh,
Would you comment on the latest development?
the Graven what?
Excuse me, please let me through. I'm Saul Goodman, and Carl Gravenhorst is 100% innocent.
You're who?
Saul Goodman. We'll take this all the way to the Supreme Court.
They went overboard with those mics.
And we'll receive a settlement, a cash settlement.
Enough. I've got to be in court.
We will meet again.
What'd you say your name was?
I'm Saul Goodman, and I make it my business to defend the citizens of Albuquerque against injustices of every kind.
Bob's purposely being less smooth on camera as Jimmy's still figuring out how to be Saul, but some elements are definitely there.
I believe every man, woman, and child deserves speedy justice.
Every man, woman, and child in this country is innocent.
Wow, you must be really expensive, though.
Someone still needs to take acting lessons.
Not at all.
Do you have a card?
Not for me, for a friend.
Yes, and I'm available 24 hours a day.
That's a callable number, although the same one we've seen many times before. We're now at the point where you can finally call it if you want.
Looking for phones? Well, I've got a surprise for you. The phone guy is no longer just the phone guy. I'm the law guy. You meet the law? You want the law to meet me. Leave a message after the beep. I'll get back to you before you sleep.
In these minisodes that accompanied Season 5, they combined his current slogan with a different phone number meant to represent Saul's number in the Breaking Bad era. We've seen that in each Episode 5 title sequence, and that number still works as well.
Drug felonies, press 1. DUI, press 2. Slip and fall on government property, press 3. Illegal animal smuggling, press 4. Unreasonably hot fast food beverage accidents, press 5. Wayfair 515 victims, press 6. To continue this message in Tagalog, press star.
Can I get one of those?
Oh, yeah.
What about me?
Yeah, oh, sure.
This marketing was much cheaper.
Okay.
Asking to get establishing shots is interesting because it seemed like they were just attracting potential clients in the courthouse, not actually making a commercial.
I just don't know.
Sentencing guidelines would have you looking at 2 to 4 years. 5 months is really good, Bobby. With overcrowding, you'd probably do less than 2. Are you worried about being there when Lois delivers?
Delivers. Oh, right.
Why does he react that way? Is he just being selfish and not thinking of his family, or are they faking this pregnancy as a Jimmy-like ploy to get more sympathy?
If I go to trial, you'll be my lawyer.
Going to trial would be a mistake. You'd just be rolling the dice.
Yeah, roll the dice. You put me up there, I get the people, the big eyes. They gonna believe me.
I believe you.
As Peter was writing this scene, he realized that this couple is reminding Kim of herself and Jimmy in a bad way.
Bobby, there are a million reasons not to go to trial.
But it's up to me, right?
Yes, it is, but I'm advising you not to. You don't want to take that risk.
Maybe I do.
Odds are you would end up going away for more time, and I'm talking about years.
But I might not.
Lois, whatever Bobby says. Excuse me a moment. Think this over carefully.
You ready for lunch?
He's not taking the deal.
Isn't he the punk who tried to sell a flatbed of hot mini fridges to an undercover cop? We can fix this.
Right here, the director did a rare mid-scene flipping of sides, emphasizing an important shift in the conversation.
I'm from the DA's office. New evidence has come to light, and I'm pulling his deal. I'm pissed. We'll have that punk on his knees begging for the 5 months.
He's the client. It's his decision.
What good is it going to do to get that dweeb away in Las Lunas?
Jimmy, no. I think we should only use our powers for good.
If this isn't using our powers for good, I don't know what is.
He knows something like this is the only way to convince him.
You don't know these assholes like I do.
I am not scamming my
But it worked for Mesa Verde.
Jimmy, back off.
Yeah, I'll see you at home.
Who's that?
Is everything all right?
He's from the district attorney's office.
Out of desperation, both Jimmy and Kim go with an idea they initially rejected.
They're taking the deal off the table.
Why are they taking it off the table?
It's possible they have
new evidence.
Her concern for this family outweighs ethics, which is ironic considering her ethics training series that accompanied season 5.
We better go tell the judge that we're taking this to trial.
Yeah. You know what? We still can't get the 5 months.
Even if you ask real nice? Are you sure that's what you want?
Yeah. I thought about it.
Please. I'll look into it.
Sure. You can do that.
Just like Jimmy, Kim is transforming here.
That's your problem, thinking the ends justify the means.
But unlike Jimmy, she is not happy about it. In addition to the dedication, Peter Gould invited Robert's family and friends to the screening of this episode. Congratulations and thanks to the new 2-year members. For Performance Indeed, 3K8 Gaming, Jeremy Dick, A Glass of OJ, Saner, and Krafila. And here are the new 1-year members. Happy Guy Plays, Mason, Icaras, Emu, Godfather GB, Saucy Sammy, Ethan Tran, Muzzy, Seba, Jim Pickles, Censor, Jovi Shark, Vince Cuff, Fountain 47, Rowan Tree of Knowledge, Spaghetti Man, Brian Rabideau, Quentin Gruber, Nui, Daniel, Unhinged Lunatic, Calum, Randall the Sandal, Large Mountain, Lime Wax, Fruit Jelly, Mason the Cathedral, Marcus, Mika, Jack Cantle, Krampus, Vows, Galactica, Gordo, Bender, Kemu, Mr. Madame, Bob Russell, Past Hero Link, James Murphy, Cal, Henry, Kiruxo, Ikasa, That Little Orange Ford, Werot, Redux M, Cody, Jeremy Hurt, Zach Melling, ABQ Outdoors, Velotarian, Laburkus 161, Sergio, Chirai, Damien Cooley, Lane Daka, Pongesty, Scott, Final Frog, Morgan Nook, F4 Borg, Chuck, Mintguard Cards, Kobaludo, I Clearly Need to Get a Job, Penguin, Fred Rankin, Matthew Varela, Lucas, Sandals G, Kyle Schweitzer, Turtle Liquor 360, Josh Talbot, Melk, XD, Donald Stoffers, Christian Marquez, Blempy, and Kfing Romez. And here are the new 6-month members. Squandered It, Spencer Roberts, For the Win Rahul, Marcinet, Kyle Connell, Joe S, Space Movement, TiVo, Loco Wolf, Miso here, Alphacito, Nob Loch Bub, Swagbag 209, Emmerich, Luca, Magnets, Jack, Jacob Charvat, Dana Marie McAllister, Janky Sheep, Vike 275, Jonathan S Windows, Doorstep Cult, Christopher Gray, Daniel R, Most Common Friend Enemy, Vincentine, Opera Inception, Junie B03, Code Connor, Fetty, 24 Not 24, Method Over Machine, Nathan Cameron, Benjamin Plen, Matt Schwartz, Ambrose Yonk, Gold, Xantum, Tony Vasquez, Eric B, Kevin Cameraman's, Helix TK, Nin, Becken, Void Owl, Sean Larkin, Glue, Boxer Oscar, Corduroy Tapes, Terry, Daniel Aguayo, Pete Garcia, Gungaloo, TC Lots of Sevens, Pole Potts Piehole, Martini Martinify, Root Awakening, Holly Bolly, Joshua Carmona, Sabi, Ziggs Energy, Damian Clements, Winning Rook, Brum, Job, YT, Opossum, Jonaman 1, Fatty Pug, The Mousetrap, Gavatron 6000, Lucas Wagner, Sam Donald, Bruzza, Roach, The Original Emissary, Yaz Gurjan, Zachary Oshiro, Aiden Rahil, Roseme, Goose Martio 99, Creed 96, Sebastian Kilpatrick, The Film Fighter, Austin Adgers, Gangnam Styler 2012, Joshua Fernando, Paulo Portella, Super Unknown Person, VG is a Genius, Watermelon, Cole Wyrick, Heinrich Brook, Korea, Wayne Screw, John Silvestro, Toffee Bun, Scarface 999, Silent H, Blind in Both Eyes, Atomic Dreamer, Blue Malamute, Strand, Callisto Manrique, Stucca, Bucket of Chocolate Milk, Lext Fox, Patrick Cool, Lucas, Owen Helgson, Noseman, Guardian Jupiter, Andre Lietzny, PK, Noah Callis, Refract Mira, Sam Hazen, Phantom Fang, Shannon Schmidt, Parsect, King Cheeto, Phantom, Matei Unger, Riley, Adam Pacholik, Azure Serenity, Corey Davis, Carlos Zero, Pananananas, Anton Reyes, Dr. Benadryl, Parallax, Remy Beckman, Clock, Skazzy, VGC Jeremy, Calm the Tech Down, Jack Mahoney, Seamlessly Seamed, and QB. Next time, the video's 50% off, which sounds ominous considering the true meaning of Breaking Bad's Face-Off episode.
Did you like that?
No, I love that.
24/7. Ah, shit. Zip the lift. Fuck. Oh, we rolling?
9:40 flight. Fuck me. One more time. I just want to do it right.
Oh, thank you.
But we get to do it again, Paul. And then Vancouver to Viet. Fuck.
And I believe, ask me again. You're who? Saul Goodman. And fuck me. Miscarriages of justice. Fuck me. Citizens of Albuquerque against outrageous. Fuck me. I make no justice.